You're thinking about your kid's smile, right? And you probably think braces is the whole story. But what if I told you the real secret to a straight smile starts way, way earlier? I mean, long before braces are even on the table. Let's dive in.
Yeah, think about that for a second. We're so used to reacting to crooked teeth, right? We see a problem, we go get it fixed. But what if we could flip the script entirely? What if we could stop those problems from ever really taking hold? It's a total game changer. And that's exactly what this is all about. We're going to look at how being proactive, not reactive, can make life so much easier down the road, maybe even preventing the need for major orthodontic work altogether.
Okay, so what is preventative orthodontics? It sounds fancy, but the idea is simple. It's basically about playing chess, not checkers, with your child's teeth. A good dentist is looking ahead, spotting these tiny little clues, not just in the teeth, but in the jaw, the face, everything, that could turn into big problems later. It's all about nipping trouble in the bud.
Now, this whole approach isn't just one big thing. It's actually broken down into 3 different levels. Think of them as stages, each with its own special mission, all depending on where your child is at with their teeth.
Right, so this table breaks it all down for us. Dentition is just a fancy word for what kind of teeth are in the mouth. Baby, permanent, or a mix. The gardening analogy here is perfect. The first level, primary, is when they just have baby teeth. This is like preparing the soil before you even plant the seeds. You're making sure everything is perfect to prevent problems. Then you have secondary, or interceptive. This is during that mixed stage with some baby and some adult teeth. This is like spotting a few little weeds and pulling them out before they take over the garden. And tertiary, well, that's what most of us think of as braces, dealing with the full-grown problems. For today, we're really going to focus on those first 2, the preventive stages.
Okay, so to bring this out of the theoretical and into the real world, let's look at what's actually happening in the dentist chair. There's a whole timeline that dentists are watching as a kid grows, kind of like a roadmap for a healthy smile. So, you can see here, every age range has its own little checkpoint. Between 3 and 6, the dentist is looking for gaps between the baby teeth. And you know what? Gaps are a good thing. It means there's room. Then, from 6 to 8, the big front teeth start coming in, so the focus shifts there. And from 8 to 12, the dentist is pretty much playing air traffic controller, making sure all the incoming teeth, the canines and premolars, have a clear runway to land on. And here's the bottom line. Your dentist has a trained eye for this stuff. They can spot the super subtle signs that things might be drifting off course, things you never notice. And that's why those regular checkups are so important. They aren't just about cleaning away plaque. They're about making sure that whole dental timeline is staying on track.
So what kind of off-track stuff are we talking about? Let's look at a couple of super common issues that sound scary, but if you catch them early, the solutions are actually surprisingly simple.
Okay, picture this. It happens all the time. A kid loses a baby tooth way too early. Maybe it got knocked out, maybe it had a cavity, and you think, it's just a baby tooth, right? The tooth fairy comes, no big deal. But it can be a big deal. It can kick off a whole chain reaction.
Seriously, it's like a domino effect. That one empty space is a problem. The teeth on either side start to think, hey, free real estate, and they begin to lean and drift into that gap. Now the path for the permanent tooth underneath is totally blocked. This is how you get crowding, or teeth coming in sideways, or even worse, getting stuck completely inside the jaw. That's called an impaction, and it's a much bigger problem to fix later.
And this right here is why I absolutely love this idea. Primary teeth are natural space maintainers. They're not just for chewing. They are the blueprints, the little guardians holding the exact right spot open for the adult tooth that's coming later. Their one big job is to just hold that space.
So what happens if you lose one of those natural guardians? Well, believe it or not, the fix is usually super simple. A dentist can put in a little thing called a space maintainer. It's custom made, it's small, and it does one job. It holds that space open. That's it. It just sits there, preventing that whole domino effect from ever starting. And just like that, major problem averted.
Okay, let's talk about problem number 2. This one's about a tooth that decides to come in, well, a little sideways. Instead of coming straight up, it comes in at a weird angle.
The official name is ectopic eruption, and you see it most often with those big 6-year molars up top. They start erupting, but they're tilted forward, and they get stuck, literally wedged underneath the baby tooth in front of them. Yeah, you can see how that's not going to work out well.
But get this, here's the really cool part. Nature is pretty amazing. In about 2/3 of these cases, the tooth fixes itself. As the jaw keeps growing, things shift around, and poof, the molar pops right into place. No intervention needed at all. But what about that other 1/3 of the time when the tooth stays stuck? You're probably picturing headgear and all sorts of complicated stuff, right? Nope. Again, the fix is often way, way simpler than you'd think.
Check this out. It's a clever little trick using a tiny brass wire. The dentist just numbs the area a little, loops this wire around the contact point between the stuck teeth, and gives it a twist. That gentle tension is just enough to nudge that molder backward day by day. After a few little retightening appointments, the molar is free and clear, back where it belongs. I mean, how smart is that? No big hardware, just a little bit of clever physics.
Okay, so we've gone through all of this. What does it all mean for you? What's the big takeaway here?
It means your role is huge. You're the guardian of that smile, the co-pilot with your dentist. It's about getting to those regular checkups, having a general idea of the dental timeline, watching out for things like thumb sucking, and, this is key, understanding that when your dentist suggests a small, early fix, it's to prevent a really big one later.
Look, if you walk away with just one thing today, please let it be this. Those baby teeth are so much more than just practice teeth. They are the natural space maintainers. They are literally holding the map for your child's adult smile. Taking care of them isn't just about preventing cavities. It's about investing in their future.
So yeah, it all comes down to being proactive. This isn't about worrying over every little thing. It's about being smart. It's about choosing the simple, easy path now so you don't have to take the complicated, expensive one later.
And really, that leaves us with one big question that goes way beyond just teeth, doesn't it? It's about shifting your whole mindset from reacting to problems to actively preventing them. So take a second and ask yourself, are you playing defense or are you playing offense?